Bus drivers are used to dealing with unruly passengers. They've heard it all and seen it all by now. And while some people think that bus drivers are just sitting ducks who can't defend themselves against rowdy passengers, that's not always true. These men and women have dealt with enough weird passengers to know what could potentially turn violent, so they're usually well equipped to handle any situation that comes their way. Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be looking at another crazy story about a bus driver and a passenger that went wrong. The driver was just trying to get his day started, but instead he found himself in a life-threatening situation. Our hero of this story is a 64-year-old bus driver named John from London. He had worked for the same bus company for 25 years and knew every street like the back of his hand. John was known for being an excellent driver. He was polite, patient, and never lost his cool, even when the traffic was at its worst. One Tuesday morning, as John was driving along his usual route, he picked up a new passenger. It was a young man in his early 20s. He was tall and muscular and had an air of danger about him. John couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as he looked at the man, but he tried to shake off the feeling and focus on the road. The man paid for his ticket and took a seat near the back of the bus. For a few minutes, everything seemed fine. The bus was moving smoothly through the city streets, and the other passengers were quiet and well-behaved. But then suddenly, the man who had gotten on at the last stop stood up and began to shout. "Stop the bus, you dirty animal! I want to get off here!" he screamed. Startled by the man's outburst, John slammed on the brakes and pulled over to the side of the road. He looked in his rearview mirror and saw the man getting off the bus. As the man got off the bus, he turned and glared at John. "Thanks a lot, you dirty animal!" he yelled. John felt a surge of anger and wanted to yell back, but he knew that it would only escalate the situation. So he took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He looked at the other passengers on the bus. Some of them were staring at the man who had just gotten off, while others were looking at John with worried expressions on their faces. "It's okay, everyone," John said calmly. "Just a bit of excitement on this lovely Tuesday morning." The other passengers seemed reassured by John's calm demeanor and slowly returned to their seats. As John continued driving, he couldn't help but feel uneasy. He kept glancing at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the man getting off the bus come back, but he didn't see anything out of the ordinary. A few minutes later, John received a radio message from the bus company. There had been reports of a fight on one of the buses, but they didn't have any more information. John replied that everything was fine and continued on his route. However, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He decided to call the police and report the incident with the unruly passenger. But before he could finish the call, the bus suddenly lurched to a halt. John looked in his rearview mirror and saw that the bus had hit something. He quickly unfastened his seatbelt and rushed to the back of the bus to check on the other passengers. Luckily, no one had been injured. But as John opened the back doors of the bus, he couldn't believe his eyes. The bus had run over a man and knocked him unconscious. The man was lying on the ground with blood streaming down his face. John immediately called for emergency services and rushed to the man's aid. Other passengers also came to help, forming a crowd around the injured man. When the police arrived at the scene, they were shocked to find out that the injured man was the same man who had caused a ruckus on the bus earlier. Apparently, he had gotten off the bus, ran into the middle of the road, and laid down. When John saw the man lying in the road, he tried to swerve to avoid hitting him, but he was too late. The man had been hit by the bus and was now in critical condition. John was devastated. He had never meant to hurt anyone, let alone cause their death. The other passengers were also shaken by the accident, but they praised John for his quick reactions. If he hadn't stopped the bus as soon as he did, the man might have been run over by another vehicle. The police investigated the accident and found out that the man who had died had a history of mental illness. He had been living in a care home but had recently absconded. The staff at the care home had reported him missing, and the police had been searching for him for days. In the aftermath of the accident, John was interviewed by several media outlets. He told his story and spoke about the importance of reporting mental health issues. He also received numerous letters and cards from people thanking him for his service. The bus company he worked for also gave him an award for his quick reactions during the accident. Despite the support he received, John was still struggling with guilt. He couldn't understand why the man had laid down in the road and why he had chosen to end his life in such a dramatic fashion. He also wondered if there was anything he could have done differently to prevent the accident. However, as time went on, John began to heal. He realized that the accident wasn't his fault and that he had done everything he could to prevent it. He also learned that the man's family was grateful for his kindness and support during the accident. As John continued working as a bus driver, he became known as a hero. People would often thank him for saving the lives of the other passengers on the bus and for showing bravery in the face of adversity. John, however, remained humble. He knew that he had simply done his job and that anyone else in his position would have done the same. Still, the accident had a profound impact on him. He became more aware of the dangers of his job and the importance of staying calm in difficult situations. He also became an advocate for mental health awareness, speaking at various events and supporting charities that helped people with mental illness. As John approached retirement, he looked back on his 25-year career with pride. He knew that he had made a difference in the lives of the people he had transported and that he had left a positive impact on the community. He also knew that he had faced his greatest challenge and emerged as a hero. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. You can also subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Now you need to watch. Bus driver kicks passenger off bus and fines $3,000. Or check out. Passengers surprised when bus driver shows up to work in wheelchair.